How did you run into the legendary Blondie guitar player?
Yes.
One of my favorites, and you know, Blondie is just Deborah Harry,
Legendary. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And
Yeah.
then, how did you run into Chris Stein? And is he still skinny?
He's a good-looking guy.
Oh, he sure is.
He's sharp.
Yeah.
He's charismatic and sweet as hell. Love Chris Stein. Well, I mean, I actually ran into them through Jeff Saltzman, who was their producer, and he was working on an album with them at the time. I was actually an intern at the studio where the album was produced, Skyline Studios here in Oakland. Shout out to Brian Matheson.
Come on. That's right.
But I was interning there, and Jeff Saltzman had just moved into Studio B, and he came out of the studio one day, and he was just like, "Hey, dude, so I hear you write?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, I can write something." And so there was this track that they had sent him. I didn't know who it was for. He just kind of like threw me in the booth, and he was like, "All right, let's hear what you got." So I had this whole thing planned out, you know, writing there with my pen, like wanting to do a good job and all that stuff. You know, as artists, we want to produce something worthwhile. And I messed up during my take. So
Did he know that?
No, but I told him, like, I started singing to him through the booth, and I was like, I screwed up. I'll do it better on the flip side. I got to do it over. I got to do it over. And I was just singing to him, and he was like, "That's it, man."
I love those guys when they say it. You know, I love it when they go, "That's it."
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you have something planned, and it's like, that's what I love about being a collaborator too. That's what helps about not just, I mean, I can write a song by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like in my room, isolated, like, sure, it's possible, it's doable. But when you're collaborating with other people, like us being our own worst critics, sometimes they're able to pull something out that you didn't even know was there. So that was the first song that I wrote on the Blondie album. It was called "I Screwed Up." And that one song turned into 7 more. So, yeah.
And you actually wrote those 7 songs for them.
I did,
And what was the name of the album? It was
Ghosts of Download.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.